up, guys? My name is Sansworld, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make this trap lead. Alright guys, so this lead, we're going to learn how to make it, and this is going to help you guys in making your own trap leads. Now, specifically, when, trap leads, to me, there's two variations of it. One is going to be pretty much a lead that is meant for the drop, which means that it's going to be very gritty and very hard. And then we're going to have melodic leads, which are going to pretty much play melodic stuff. Now, the huge difference here, guys, is that Portamento effect. Now, for those of you guys who didn't hear it, the Portamento effect is pretty much this. It takes long for the notes to change, because if I put the Portamento down, you can see that we can kind of get some melodic, but with this, you can't really get that much melodic stuff out of it. So pretty much it's going to be a sound design sound, in my opinion. And what I mean by that is it's a sound that the sound of it matters a lot, not just the melody, because you need this to drive the track. Usually it's used in drops. Okay, this is the sound we're going to learn how to make, and I'll talk a little bit about how you can change it up, and a little bit of variation. So let's get started. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Alright guys, so the first thing to note is that in the first oscillator, we're using a square wave, which pretty much is going to be a variant of the square wave. Usually the square wave, this line here, where it goes straight down to value negative, if this was positive and this was negative, it would be in the center. So pretty much you can kind of say this is kind of like a PWM form of it, because the PWM pretty much does the same thing where it kind of squishes it a little bit more, this free space here. Now, if I move this more to the left, you're going to see there's more free space. Now, a lot of trap sounds give the impression that they're very thinnish, but they're very strong and they're heavily compressed, which we will talk about a little bit later. Now, the effect I'm talking about, the whole choke thinnish effect, it can be made, and the way I think about it in real life is if you were to talk and put your hand over your throat and then squeeze. Now, don't kill yourself, but if, I'm doing it right now and I'm talking to you guys and my voice keeps getting thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner, that's the same effect we're applying here when this space is very limited. And we can apply the same effect. Let's say we have another wavetable that isn't a square, that you can't get the variant like this. We can always apply a PWM and do the same effect. The difference is this: if we have a normal square, and now if we put the PWM and squish it, you can see the sound totally changes. Now, one of the things I want you guys to get out of this video is definitely going to be the PWM thing. Definitely going to be it. And this PWM affects all waves the same way, where it just squishes them down. And in reality, if you were to kind of humanize this, it would be someone choking someone else while they're screaming for help. Literally. Now, the reason I chose this wavetable instead was because, obviously, if we use a PWM, we're pretty much using up one of the mods in here, and we can't change it. We can't use two at the same time here. There might be a way to do it. I'm not sure, maybe through the matrix. I haven't really looked into it. But with that said, the other cool thing is going to be FM synthesis. Now, FM stands for frequency modulation, or in other words, pitch. Fucking around with the pitch, literally what I say. Now, FM works this way. You feed a wave into, or a sound into, this sound, and pretty much the frequency of it, the pitch of it, is changed. Now, if you guys have studied, academics, you guys took physics and studied sound and all that, you guys will know that the higher speed something is, the more higher pitch it's going to sound like, while something slower is going to sound lower pitched. Knowing that, the more you add of it, literally the dummy's way of explaining this would be, the more you add of it, the faster it's going to move, so the higher the pitch is going to turn. So if we were to do it right now, you can see it starts turning into just white noise, too high. Now, we're going to put this around here, and we have pretty much the sound already. Now, the next thing here to note is that in order to use the FM, you're going to have to turn Oscillator beyond. This means as soon as you turn it on, the level's going to be up. This doesn't mean you have to leave the level up. You can leave the level all the way down, and the FM will still work, because it's being routed from inside serum. It's not being routed through this level. This level knob is only for the master section here, or where it gets routed into the effects section or filter, whatever you think. Now, One of the things I did for this is added this LFO here, and I didn't add it to the wavetable position of the basic shapes over here, because if you see, we only have 7 wavetable positions, and it's really not fluent. It just switches from wavetable to wavetable, so we're really not going to get that good of an effect on there. But this one over here, the electric guitar, you can see if I move it to the right and left, there's some fluent motion. It looks like a snake pretty much, and that's what we want. When you move the wavetable position with LFOs, what you want is wavetables that really have a lot of positions, and every position is going to be a change in the wavetable, so it's going to move gradually, you know, in certain places and whatnot. Now, the LFO was applied to this here, and pretty much like this. And it's going to add a sort of movement to the sound. It's going to give it a little bit of life. Now, once we have that, we go into the voicing, and this is where we create that slide effect that you guys hear. The way we do that is we're going to turn mono on. You can do this in poly, but it doesn't sound as good. We're going to apply legato, and we're going to have this set to always. What this means is that this effect will always take effect, because if I turn this off, you can see it doesn't work unless I slide the notes across. But I always want this to be on, and it works wonders for me. Now, once we have it, you know, the thing about Portamento, guys, is that if I were to put this in the singing terms, it would be someone going like, instead of doing this, it would be, you know, the notes would be sliding. Now, this is what the same idea here. We're giving the synth that feature, but the difference in trap to other genres and stuff where these drop leads occur is that trap overdoes it to the point where it's really a long time. You know, and you know, that's what gives it that kind of really gritty kind of, you know, I don't know how to loosey-woosey sound, you know, whatever you want to identify it as. With that being said, that's pretty much going to be it here. And you know, the Portamento is a cool thing. You can also change the curve of it, which is going to affect the way it works. Now we're going to go into the effects section, guys. Now in the effects section, there's a little tool here called the compressor, which again, you guys should know by now. Alters dynamics by pretty much reducing dynamics in order to get more of the sound out, because softer things and louder things, if you compress it enough, they're going to sound, you know, they're going to sound at the same level to you. And that's pretty much the idea of compression, to do that in order to, you know, tame volumes, or maybe you want something to come out more. It makes those little things just pop out more. Now, the cool feature is the multi-band feature, which I just call the OTT, which means over-the-top compression. Now, the reason I call it over-the-top is because Xfer has this plugin called OTT, which literally just over-compresses your sound. But it makes some sounds just sound totally different. It gives a whole new feeling to it. And a lot of the trap sounds utilize the OTT. Now, if you guys know about Cymatics, I've promoted a few of their products on my page that were sponsored by them. If you look through their presets, if you've bought their stuff, you will look through it and you will notice that almost every single patch they have utilizes the OTT, because it's that powerful and it makes stuff sound loud, crispy, and good. Now, I'm going to turn this off and you're going to hear it. You know, it just sounds like a fucking fly literally buzzing in your ear. There's no power to it. It's annoying. But as soon as we turn it on, sounds like a kamikaze pilot about to ram into your ass. Now, with that said, everything before the compressor will pop out because of the OTT, and everything after it will just affect the sound after it's OTT. Keep that in mind, because once we put the reverb, we can go a few ways here. We can put it behind the compressor, which will sound like this. You know, makes the compressor just pop out, and then we put it after. Sounds a little bit more cleaner, a little bit more how you guys are used to it. And the same thing with delay. Before, it sounds more like an echo that really, you know, was not losing volume. And here, you know, it loses volume and it has a little bit more dynamics. Hopefully that kind of makes you understand dynamics a bit better. Is the volume change. You can see the difference. You know, it's so compressed that you can still hear the damn delay when it should be gone by then. Okay, so once we have this, guys, the reverb, we can go a couple of ways. We can put the mix all the way up and kind of use the effect that I've taught you guys a lot of times, where, you know, it turns into more of a sound like this. Get that. Even put it before the compressor. You know, or, you know, just a standard reverb. It's totally up to you. I like to use a standard reverb. All right. Now the next thing we can add is the hyper dimension, which is totally going to add a whole new layer of elements to it. I see the hyper as pretty much just saws literally being added, detuned if you want, and it creates this. Makes it sound a lot more heavier, more powerful. And then the dimensions here uses the Haas effect, which I think it's the Haas because I hear some sort of delay. It could be something else, so don't quote me on that. You know, it creates that feeling of it being huger, and you know, play it up with the reverb, and you literally have a really powerful sound. Now the next thing is the EQ, which, you know, you should just use to kind of finalize your sound, you know, polish it, you know, add a little bit of high end if you feel like it's needed. And pretty much we're going to be done with this. Now, other ways we could have taken this sound, guys, is instead of, you know, using this squid wave, we could have literally gone and used, you know, another wave, like maybe a mini bass or something. I don't know what this is. We could have put the PWM, and I don't know if this is going to work. You can see the sound just... And you can create really cool sounds out of it, you know. So I'm gonna go back to the one I had, which is gonna be this. You know, so that's pretty much how trap sounds are made, guys. Hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, and hopefully I get another video out before the end of the week. Peace out.